You could kill that, bro. I can't. Oh, God. Seriously. That's what happens when you spill oil all over the place. All right. Use it to massage into my hands. All right. What's going on, everybody? Go ahead and turn up the volume. It's been a minute. It has been a minute since I have been live. All right, so today we are going to be reviewing the new nude powders that we just launched: Figurine, Nibble, and Eggshell. Let's go. What's up? Yes, Greg Salo is in the house. It has been a minute. I don't remember the last time. Last time I did some live education, I think, was for a paid class. But today will be a treat. All right. Yeah, Tracy's live on Whatnot right now. I'm live on YouTube. All right, but I want to be able to show you guys these nude colors, and then let's go ahead and just go through a class. We can go ahead and sculpt, work with them, show you guys how they work. You're going to be pretty blown away. For those of you guys, again, we're selling them online. You get all three for 25 bucks. There's a limited quantity, so I totally recommend for those of you who are looking for some new nude powders, this is definitely the time to get it. We do, like, every Wednesdays, we have some new launches, and this is an opportunity. Yeah, you're going to be stoked. You're also going to be stoked because I'm going to show you guys how they look. So I went ahead and prepared one finger. I'll just snap a couple of them in so that you see. And then let's just go ahead and get right to it. Okay, so before we actually get into sculpting, I want to be able to show you. So this one is Eggshell. Really pretty, kind of a lightish. It's like a blend. Well, I'll show you. It's kind of a get some warm colors in here so that you guys can actually see. You can see this is on the pinkish side. This is definitely on the little bit more on the peach side, and this is definitely on a kind of a grayish side. Want to be able to show you guys what they look like, which is incredible. For those of you guys that got the Signature Series brush, you scored on Whatnot today. That is for sure. Let me show you guys what these colors look like. So again, Nibble is the pink one. And again, like you can see, that is amazing. And then this color, Nibble, and then Figurine is the more peach. And then I want to be able to show you guys it's definitely going to have a little bit more of a warm tone to it. And this one is sick. So this is like on the taupe end, but it has just a touch of pink inside. So you're going to be able to get all three of these, all 345 grams for 25 bucks. I mean, dude, it just doesn't get better than that. All right, so one of the things, I want to be able to show you guys, because they definitely have kind of a different set to them. If I'm going with the pink one of the things I want to be able to do, again, is just kind of balancing my finger when I'm applying the product. I want to be able to try to get a self-leveling run, right? So you'll notice, again, let me bring this out. if I submerge my brush and then I touch this side, I want to be able to come and bounce at a 45-degree angle. And if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, release, you're going to notice that I'm lightly going to be able to touch that back end. So you can see how I'm getting a nice kind of self-leveling run. And you'll notice that it'll move, right, all the way down to the end. And then what I can do is start to use kind of the, again, body of my brush just to kind of touch it into play. I'm not getting it to roll over the edge. This is kind of the consistency I want you to master when you're working with acrylic. You'll notice that if I give it enough time, I wipe my brush, and then like if I actually start brushing through, like even if I start brushing through, it's not really going to brush. You can see, look at that, not much kind of brushes off the edge. So that is a great consistency, because what you can start to do is pull your sides so they taper flawlessly to your side walls as well as the cuticle area. Okay, so again, that one is Nibble, right? Nibble, which is the pink one. Let's go with Figurine, which is the more peach version. And again, notice the temperature in here is, it's like in the low 70s inside the classroom. But you'll notice if I submerge my brush and I tap, and I have this thing loaded, right, I'll be able to pull, bounce, bounce, bounce. And if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I release, I have a little bit of space you can see around the cuticle area, which gives me the ability to touch to get it tight. And then you can see just by lightly touching, I'm not attacking it, right? I have the ability to use, you see the wedge of my brush? I have the ability to come in. If I want to stop the run, I can lift the finger up. And what we could do with that wedge is create a perfect wall to create a smile line in reverse. Okay, so this is, again, a great opportunity for you to come in. And you can even see, if I was to kind of notch in dead center where the teardrop runs all the way down, and then you can see even here, if I notch in, right, the very, very top of my ears, right, the corners of my smiles. It just kind of gives you an idea of what I'm looking at when I'm actually letting that teardrop run all the way. And you can even see, look at it, at this point here, I still have quite a bit of, I would say, slight movability, where I can kind of compress the acrylic into place. I'm never going to wait that long, because to me it's too dry to get it down to the edge. But you can see you can even brush it forward, you know, if you wanted to be able to get it into play. And then last but not least, this taupe version is absolutely beautiful. What we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to sculpt with all of them, so I can show you guys obviously best means, but same exact thing. This one kind of has a very, very light pink tint to it. I like to use quite a bit of liquid in order to get something that large. But if I submerge my brush and I tap and I pull down and I bounce, 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 and again, I wait 1, 2, 3, 4, and then slowly release. And then you're going to be able to see, I'm going to be able to use the tip of my brush to lightly slide and touch it tight to the cuticle area while the bead starts to move. Now, at this point, again, you can see that touch, 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 touch. It's almost a very, very light surface touch to kind of guide it into place. And then what we can do is, by holding this, again, I don't care if I'm bringing it in, but you're going to notice once it starts to set, then I can start to pull, wipe, pull, wipe, pull, wipe, pull, right? Look at this. So it just has a very light, Again, love it. Like, you guys are gonna absolutely love this color. Is ridiculous. So the deal right now, again, online, is you get all 3 of these for 25 bucks. We're starting this new program every Wednesdays. We have a very exclusive product launch. Tracy worked with the lab to get these done, and they're sick. So all of you guys who are getting them, you're going to absolutely love them. Okay, let's get into sculpting and what we're going to do. So one of the things that I love when I'm sculpting is I'll go ahead and clip off a majority of the tip, and then I'll use my hand file to come in and just kind of round off that free edge. And then what I want to be able to do is get that prepped and ready to rock and roll. So you could use an arbor band or a diamond bit. What I'm going to do is, again, come in with an arbor band, use my electric file, again, at a very low speed. So want to be able to just lightly, again, touch, tickle, tickle, tickle. I'm using what I call a light feathering motion to remove shine around the perimeter of the nail. I don't want to dig. I want to be able to use this type of pressure on the inside of my wrist, right? So very, very light pressure to come in and feather away the shine from the surface of the natural nail. Once you're done doing that, then what we want to be able to do is use swipe, right, to remove all the oils and contaminants from the surface. Boom. And then I want to be able to use protein bond. Okay, so protein bond is going to leave what I call kind of like a double-sided sticky tape on the surface of the nail. It bonds really well to the keratin structure of the natural nail and provides just enough adhesion, right, so that you don't have any lifting at all with acrylics, with gels, with hard gels, with gel polish, everything associated with nails, okay? So what we want to be able to do, for those of you guys who have seen a lot of the videos, we want to be able to build an extension. And in order to do that, I have to use a nail form. And what I like to do is take the tab and then just place it underneath like this. Then what I could do is I could pre-pinch the very, very front end to create a handle. I'm gonna be able to open up the back end, and with this, like, you can see where I'm actually holding it, right? You see that? Barely holding onto the edges. This will allow me to come in just underneath the free edge. And then what I can do is, once it's underneath, I'm going to use my finger just to tilt this up so that it's nice and flush to the surface, okay? So you can see from the side profile that I'm going to have a free edge that's going to be really, really straight coming off the end of that growth channel right to there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take, again, nibble. This is the pink one. So for all of you guys that bought this, let's go ahead and sculpt out a shorter version. We don't have to go crazy long. What I like to do when I'm teaching beginners is, again, get yourself a nice bead, remove the excess by tapping it on the back end of the towel. Do you see how I'm holding this like a pencil or a pen? Connection, release onto the form, wipe your brush. Now, you're going to notice it doesn't move. It's going to be like clay. I'm going to be able to walk it from the top. Look at this. See, I'm walking it up from the top of the bead, tucking it, top of the bead, tuck, top of the bead, tuck. So I've literally walked it from the top of the bead to the corner of the natural nail. Now, from this point, if I decided that I wanted to square everything off, I have a perfect extension, right? I can do the same thing by actually, for length, if I wanted to brush this out, this color is absolutely stunning. But you can see if I'm going for more of a coffin shape, then what I want to be able to do is slightly taper that free edge, right? Boom. So that is dead square, like kind of like a screwdriver on the end. See that? And again, when you're looking at the side profile, the extension is going to be very, very straight coming off the side wall so that it's not coming out and then dipping, it's coming straight out. Okay, so once you actually have this completely extended, then what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to complete our overlay. So all that I was showing you guys earlier, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to submerge my brush. I'm going to load this up with quite a bit of liquid. I'm going to get myself a nice healthy bead. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, release around 5 with a little bit of space, lightly touch, lightly touch, lightly touch, lightly touch. Look at this, I'm barely guiding it around the perimeter of the nail while the bead moves down past the stress area. Then I pull from the front of the bead with my hand connected. See, I'm connected. So you can see if I zoom out, it's almost like this. Like I have connection and then I'm literally pulling from the front so that, again, I have great balance. And then once everything starts to flow, take a look at this, look at this. Look at the side. So you can see, look at this. Most of the thickness, again, as I work the brush over the surface, do you see that arch? A natural arch starts to build through the structure, right? Through that structure. I'm missing product right here. So what we want to be able to do, again, is I'm pulling through, making sure that everything is blending. I need to get a blending bead. I'm going to submerge my brush. I'm going to come down. I'm going to release a little bit of liquid. I'm going to set it in between and then brush into the body. It leaves all the excess there. Then what I can do is use the body of my brush to just literally walk over. Look at this. Look at this. I'm not brushing. I'm walking over the surface to make it even with the structure, leaving enough product on the end so that when I file this into shape, I have enough product, right, on the whole entire body through the free edge. A really nice tapered cuticle area, as you can see, where I don't really need to file that much. But I have a structure that I'm going to be able to file in the least amount of effort. Okay, so this color is, for those of you guys, again, that went online and bought today, we have a limited quantity. We're doing these limited releases every Wednesday. This is, again, let me go ahead and turn this over so that you guys can see. This is Nibble. So there's a 3-piece collection that launched today. It'll only be available today. You're going to be able to get all 3 of these colors for 25 bucks. Score, right? All right. Well, for those of you guys that got it, scored hard. All right. We're going to let this dry. I'm going to go ahead and set up another finger. So for those of you guys that are practicing, what you want to be able to do, you'll notice the back end of the plastic tips. If I remove by clipping off that back end, then what I can do is I can just kind of file to smooth that out. We're trying to create as tight of a cuticle area as we possibly can. And then what I'll do is I'll press into this, right, keeping it nice and tight and flush. And then what I'll do is I'll remove, right, the excess from the front end. I kind of leave it pointed so that I'll be able to file this around. And you can see, again, just from corner to center, same thing around the edge, right? Just to leave enough of a free edge for me to get my form onto the surface. All right. Now, what we want to be able to do, again, this is starting to set super smooth. I'm not going to rip the form off just immediately. I need to give it time to set. Let's go through the motion of prep again. So for those of you guys, again, that are working with the new e-file, prep is usually around 10, right? 9 to 10. A little bit faster than the older one. And then again, it's a very gentle tickle, 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 right? I don't need to be aggressive. I just need to lightly touch, just barely, just feather. Touch, 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 touch. Like you're not putting any pressure. All you're doing is tickling the shine away from the surface, right? That way we have a nice textured surface. For those of you guys that do not have an electric file, one of the things that you want to be able to practice when you're using a hand file, for a lot of you beginners out there that don't work with one yet, I'll show you. So just go ahead and clip this off, remove this back end, and then I can go ahead and press this on. I'm going to go ahead and try to clip away a majority of the free edge. I just need a little bit. Let's go ahead and just lightly kind of file this nice and even. So if you have a hand file, same thing, right? But you want to be able to, again, I'm working with a 150 grit, lightly come around the corner, just gentle. You don't need to be aggressive, very, very light. And then what we want to be able to do, using light circular motion, just to gently remove the shine from the surface of the nail. All right, so again, for those of you guys that do not have an electric file, you don't work with drills, work with e-files. You're going to be able to see how I'm gently removing shine from the surface. Same thing, right? This is starting to set. It's rock hard. You can see, boom, right? Enough flexibility, right? We'll get to filing that into shape. Once you remove shine from the surface of the nail, what we want to be able to do is use swipe to clean all the oils and contaminants from the surface. What this is going to do is it's going to set you up, right, for a balanced pH level. This is going to set you up for protein bond, right? So again, from cuticle to free edge, I don't get it on the skin. I'm just applying a nice, gentle coat. And what this is going to do is bond to the keratin structure of the natural nail and set you up so that your enhancements don't lift. Boom. I do 2 coats. All right, 2 coats. I want to show you guys a really cool technique. For those of you guys, again, who are a little bit more advanced, you want to be able to put the form on first and then be able to perform what I call just a 1 ball method. It's definitely something for those of you who have mastered building the free edge and are learning to sculpt a lot faster. Let me show you how it's performed. So again, when I'm holding on to the form, I'm barely touching the edge. And you can see that, again, I'm coming under, so when I come underneath, it's going to be kind of at an angle. You can see, like you see how it's kind of like dipped at an angle. So at this point, look at this, like just to see that, I'm just pulling up from the bottom to touch. So if you're barely holding on to the form and then you use your middle finger just to tilt it up and then secure the sides, you don't need to secure this top part right here. It's a big mistake that a lot of beginners make. You need to keep the form tight to the free edge, flush to the free edge, so there's no space underneath there. That's the most important thing. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here from the cuticle area and have it flow all the way down to this point. Now you're gonna notice one thing. I'm gonna bring the camera out to the side so that you can see something, okay? Do you see the angle on that? Do you see the brush, right? So I'm not like this because it's gonna create a thick cuticle area. Let me bring this again, look at this. I'm not gonna be like this, it's gonna create this. I want the finger pointed down, right? Let me just get this into view. I want the finger pointed down towards the towel so that if my brush comes in straight, I'm gonna be able to build a tight, look at this, I could tuck, 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 tuck. And again, notice when I'm working, my hand is connected. Look, if I have my hand out like this, and I'm in a position like I'm writing, then what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to balance my finger. Like, and you could balance on the side, you can balance here, but what it prevents you from doing is you don't hold the brush like this. This is what ends up happening. When you hold the brush out here, you start to shake. When you're in a position where you're actually able to connect, then you can work, look at this, I can use this light motion. For those of you guys that got this brush today, you're gonna be in heaven. This brush is next level. Okay, so watch this. Let's get in from this angle. Okay, boom. I'm just gonna try to bring the, right, there we go. Let me just move this out of the way. I got kind of a side angle view for you guys. I'm trying to get this as detailed as I possibly can. All right, so one of the things when I'm actually building active length nails, let's go with this color. So for those of you guys that got, I can't read, eggshell, right? That taupe color, dude, this is so sick. Here, let's bring this a little bit more like that. All right, perfect. Watch this, all right? This is where you're gonna practice, right? Especially for active length nails. Try to bring everything in view so you can see. If I submerge my brush and I lightly tap on one side and I pull and I bounce, 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 and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, release, tight, touch, touch, touch. I'm holding the finger down towards here, right? I get that tight. So what ends up happening is it flows right past the free edge. And then if I'm building an active length nail, like you can see the cuticle area is done. So at this point, look at this, I can just kind of guide this into whatever shape I want. I'm not gonna start pulling it right away. This is a number 12 brush. But once I let this rest for just that point of time, watch this. Now, as I start to brush the sides in, bro, look at that. Tight around the cuticle area. And then what I can actually start to do is use the body of the brush, right, just around the edge to just get the right thickness at the tip, right? So you can see that I'm actually able, instead of going multiple beads, I can really focus on getting something short, active length in one bead. The color is smoking. So for those of you guys, again, that got this today, you're gonna be super stoked with it. This is, again, eggshell. Right, so for those of you that just joined us in the lives, awesome. We've got a deal right now. We just launched 3 new cover powders, and they're limited edition. You're not gonna be able to get these. They're only available today. Done. On Wednesdays, we have these drops that we're doing now, limited edition, collector items from Young Nails. Tracy worked really hard with the chemists to create these special colors. And they're launching today, 25 bucks, dude, for all 3. Like, you can't go wrong. All right, last but not least is this really beautiful, this is nibble, right? So is that the, yeah, no, nibble, and then let me just double check. Oh, eggshell, which one? Eggshell, and then, I forgot the names. Figative, let me see. Sorry, I can't read it, hold on. Figurine, my eyes, figurine, right? So let's look at figurine. This is, oh, that really nice warm color. If I come in, and again, I wanna be able to show all of you who are out here learning how to work with acrylic nails, you'll notice that it's very important when you submerge your brush, tap, don't drag through you can see how junky the bead gets, like how thin and nasty. What you want to be able to do is use the surface area where it's flat. If I submerge my brush and lightly tap, watch this, pull, bounce, 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 bounce. You get a really nice, fluffy pillow-like bead that will release from the brush without sticking. Look at that. And then slowly self-level into place. That is what we want when we're working with acrylic. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how do I get a smaller bead if you're working with such a big brush? Well, simply remove a majority of the liquid. So if I tap, 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 I'm really pulling out a lot, then you'll notice that if I pull, bounce, 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 I'm literally going to get something very, very tiny. All right, so if I'm going for maybe a fill bead, right, a fill bead is going to be something like this. I'll show you. All right, so let's say I only need to fill in that back area, that little area in the back. How much acrylic do I need? If I submerge my brush, let me try to get this inside so that you guys can see. If I submerge my brush and I tap, tap, tap maybe 3 times and I bounce, 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 look at that. I'm going to get a really, really nice bead. And that, what I'll do is I'll set this down, and then what I'll do is I'll tuck, 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 try to get this as tight to the cuticle, and then I'll pull, wipe, 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 right? That's kind of the sequence that you want to be able to work with when you are doing fills. The biggest mistake a lot of beginners make when they're doing fills is they do this. They come in with maybe too big of a bead, they set it down, and then they start to brush it off of the nail completely. Like you're not giving it a chance to sit at all. What you want to be able to do when you're doing any type of a fill, right? Let's get in really tight, is the finger needs to be pointed down at kind of an angle, right? That way you're able to tuck the brush while you work. So if I submerge my brush, right? And again, I'm going for a fill bead, so maybe a few bounces on the back end. What do I mean by a few bounces? Look at this, submerge, bounce. Look at this, I see I'm pressing along the side, dead center, pressing along the side. And then again, bounce, bounce, bounce to get myself, a smaller bead. So again, maybe a couple of times, bounce, 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 I get myself a smaller bead. And then when I set it to the surface, then what I want to be able to do, look at this, lightly tuck, just I'm barely touching at an angle, barely touching so that it self-levels perfect around this area. Pull, wipe, pull, wipe, pull, wipe. I'm pulling from the front of the bead. Pull, wipe, pull, wipe. And what this is going to do is it's going to blend into the body. See that? And it doesn't stick to your brush. And what ends up happening when you're pull wiping from the front, it leaves it, like you can see the back end? It tucks perfectly to this area. And let me show you. I'm just going to draw a line through it. This area here is perfect. So the area that you're blending in, right, it's a pull, wipe, pull, wipe, pull, wipe all the way through. Okay, so that's how you're going to kind of complete your fills. Feels good to be live with you guys. Almost 5,000 people watching do acrylic. Pretty crazy. So just remember, today, limited time, we have these beautiful 3 acrylics for 25 bucks. Limited edition on the website. You're not going to be able, again, to get these colors ever again. So if you have an opportunity, I would jump on there and I would get them today. Let me show you guys what you're going to be able to do. Let's get in and sculpt with that more nude, warmer color. So again, for those of you guys that are learning how to sculpt, if you take the tab and you place it underneath, What it does is it creates support. See that? Support. And then that way, if you're going with a more square nail, then what you'll be able to do is, see, I'm actually able to just pinch this front end. When I open up the back, all right, then what I'll be able to do, again, is come in at an angle, right? Just get underneath at an angle and then tilt it so that it touches the front. That's what you want to be able to do. You don't secure the back, right? It's not necessary. All right, so you can really bring this pointed all the way and you'll be able to build a square nail. So if we're going for active length, watch this. I want to be able to submerge my brush and then get enough liquid where if I'm bouncing into the surface, I'm going to be able to get a big enough bead. 2, 3, 4, release, and then I'm gonna tuck. I'm literally just tucking, holding a majority of the product. Look at this. I'm allowing it to move over the form. See that? I'm allowing it to move over the form. I'm not gonna start attacking it. For me, it's really important to make sure that we get the cuticle area and the sidewalls tight. And then as it starts to set, then what I can do is start to brush through. It almost sets itself to perfection once you have the consistency down. But you'll notice that I'm actually able to build a nail without having to go through the whole process of, building the free edge. But this color, again, is smoking. Love it. You guys are going to absolutely love these nude colors. I don't get acrylic on my brush because of the consistency that I work with. It's all great timing. And for those of you guys that watch the videos on our channel, it's all about being able to manipulate the product, being able to get it to set clean, tight, straight, even, right? With the right, again, building something that looks as natural as possible. And that's what it comes down to, right? Yeah, I don't like that bump it makes. What bump? What bump? Dude, when these file out, they're perfect. So it's all about, again, it's all about learning how to do nails so that you guys can make money in the salon. And at the end of the day, for all of you guys that are learning how to do nails, it's about getting the right structure so that you're able to work faster in the least amount of effort. Wish I had an opportunity to spend more time teaching, but this is a great honor to get on here and show you guys what you have to be able to do. So let me show you guys how to file this into perfection really fast. If you have a brand new file, you want to be able to take a used file and remove as much of the edges as you possibly can. That way they're not sharp. You want to pull and wipe method. So yeah, so I just saw on here, like if you again have acrylic that's jammed up inside the brush, just remember after you're done, what you want to be able to do is use the acrylic to come through and pull as much of it out as you can. If I have a little bit of acrylic left, liquid left, when I'm done, what I'll do is use a little bit of acetone blended with the monomer and I'll let it sit. Right, let it sit for about 10, 15 minutes. And again, if there's any acrylic that's jammed up, I'll let it soak with the monomer. And then I'll do the same exact thing. I'll kind of spin it out and use the towel to brush it out to get it as tight as I possibly can so that I don't have any acrylic. And just remember not to use this ever again. If you end up mixing acetone inside here, then what we want to be able to do again is I need to dispose of that. So use my towel, that'll evaporate. And then this is ready to go. So let's just show you again, right? If I'm filing this into shape, I need to make sure that my side walls are dead even. Right? You can see if I'm holding my sides, I'm gonna be able to build a nice shelf all the way down. I'm gonna go ahead and taper that front end. I need to make sure that my side walls are dead straight. So from the lowest point parallel, look at this, keep contact. And then as I file all the way up, I'm going to build razor sharp lower arches that are going to extend from this point to this point. You can see if I turn the hand, you can see how much of it is actually hanging. So I'm not gonna put it in the corner and file this way. I wanna start at the lowest point and file up. See that? Until it gets even. And then that way when it reaches, there we go. When it reaches, you can see how nice and straight that's going to be, coming from the end of the growth channel all the way out. Don't make the mistake, right? There's a lot of individuals, what they end up doing when they're filing is they take their hand file and they just come in at an angle like this. And if you file this, look what ends up happening, right? You end up building a notch. See that little notch right there? It's kind of like if I took my hand file and I just kind of came in and I just started filing like this, file like this, thinking I'm gonna be able to do something. And what you end up doing is you end up building a notch right there. So you don't wanna do that. There we go. You wanna turn it to the side. You have to be able to line the file parallel to the finger underneath so that it files up and even, right? And the best way to be able to do that is turn your customer's hand to the side, right? That way when you line it up, you'll be able to line it to a point and then start from the lowest end and file dead even, right, to the growth channel coming off that end. Okay, so what we're gonna end up doing now is, I mean, I don't really need to file that much here. Let's go ahead and get a safety bit. And what we want to be able to do is I'm gonna run the electric file at around 21,000 RPMs. So I'm literally looking down here. I'm I'm going down my upper arch to get that as even as I can. I'm gonna go down, right, the barrel of the nail to make that as even as I possibly can. I'm gonna go around the cuticle area and then come right through. I don't need to, again, file that much. If I need to do a little bit of detail right here, just to get the free edge a little bit thinner, I can be able to do that from the end. Once I remove a majority of the bulk, then what I can do is I could use my hand file and really just come in and blend that cuticle area tight. Look at this. I could just run my hand file up this. You see how it literally follows up the side? So I can come down one side here. I can come down one side here. And then last but not least, what we want to be able to do is look down the barrel of the nail. So let's go ahead and do this here, right? We want to be able to look down that barrel to make sure that it's dead even. Side walls are going to be straight on both sides. I like to make a peace sign and then rest it on top and then file all the way through the body to make sure that it's going to be nice and even all the way down the barrel of the nail. But that color right there, that's that beautiful pink color. Again, for those of you guys that are getting a hold of the nudes, these nudes will be available on the website today. That is going to be the pink one, which is this color right there. And that is, again, nibble, right? So nibble, figurine, And then eggshell, these 3 colors, as you guys can see, right? Beautiful, limited edition nudes are going to be available on the website only today, right? So again, for those of you guys that are looking to get some new nude colors, some limited edition, there's 3 45-gram powders that we're selling for 25 bucks. Make sure to go to the website, take advantage of today. These drops, again, are special. And I really, really do hope that you guys get them. Remember to like and subscribe for those of you guys that are looking for the best nail education in the industry. Young Nails brings it to you. Really, really appreciate you guys tuning in today. It's been a minute. Again, honored to be on here and showing you guys how the product works. Thank you so much, and look forward to working with you all soon. Thanks a million. Remember, youngnails.com. Go check it out. $25 for the 3 available today. We only have limited quantities, limited edition. Get them while you can. Peace.